In the constantly changing world of fundability, the big question is this: how are entrepreneurs and real estate investors like us, ones who want to grow our businesses and who are tired of paying for really expensive alternative lending, how do we tap into the most inexpensive money available and do it without the hassle of typical borrowing? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. Welcome to the Get Fundable podcast with your host, Merrill Chandler.
Welcome, everybody. This is Merrill Chandler, your host of the Get Fundable podcast, the Get Fundable universe, as it were. And I have a special surprise for you today. I'm interviewing I've gone through my share of, I'm going to use air quotes, accountants. I've gone through tax preparers. I've gone through strategists. I've talked to dozens of people who are subject matter experts, no doubt, but could not relate necessarily to me, the funkiness of my business model, and the straight and give it to me in straight talk, right? And she knows how to address, I'll let her speak to this, knows how to address the fog of the gray in between the black and the white that is the IRS code, right? Is it standard operating procedures for accounting? She is a genius at navigating these particular waters. And when we come back, we'll introduce you to Pam Jordan. She is my new fractional CFO. So when we come back, you get to meet her for yourself. Welcome back, everybody. Merrill Chandler here, and I am live and in color with Ms. Pam Jordan, who is what has come to be known in recent years as a fractional CFO. Fractional CFO. And I thought that was a really cool term because, you know, me and nomenclature, right? I've invented an entire lexicon of terms surrounding fundability. And I'm having Pam on today because she has not just an interesting skill set, but she has an interesting perspective on the hashtag entrepreneur life. Entrepreneurs are a rare and sometimes quirky breed of businessmen and women. And therefore we have certain fundamentally sound, but fundamentally weird things we need to address. And we'll get more into this with Pam, but how many times is it personal or is it business? Because I don't necessarily have a business. I'm a sole proprietor. I'm an LLC. I'm an INC. How do I do my accounting? It is a mess for those of us who are still our W-2, and we kind of back into making our hobby a trade and the conversion into a real business. That's what we're talking about today. Pam, welcome to the Get Fundable podcast.
Hey, thanks, Merrill. I'm super pumped to be here and chat with you.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to write what her website says about her, but I'm going to let her then speak the truth about how all of this comes together. Pam Jordan is a no-nonsense financial expert and speaker who analyzes and streamlines the back end of fast-growing companies, efficiently creating more profit and strategic growth. I noticed that in there it doesn't say accounting. Talk to me about that, and the reason why I'm with you. Tell my tribe, my crew, what it is why is it all about growth and profit, but you're not a marketer?
Got you. So yeah, we are definitely profit driven. We are looking at the bottom line, profit with precision. So I am an accountant, but don't hold it against me. Quote, air quotes, accountant. I have my MBA and all those things. But I am different because A, I'm fun, and B, I think like an entrepreneur because I am an entrepreneur. I don't think like a CPA who's trying to fill numbers into forms so that you can tell the government how much you owe them for giving you the wonderful opportunity to be an entrepreneur.
Very good. So today I want to focus on because my tribe is all aware because I beat it into them is acutely aware of what we call funding landmines, things to avoid that. If you didn't step on a landmine while you traverse the funding field, you're in way better shape than 97% of every other entrepreneur out there. So today I'd like to cover some of the big like accounting or business management landmines that you run into, and tell us while you're answering that, tell us how you got to where you are and why this is your passion. Why is this your jam?
Cool. So I'm going to answer those in reverse. So first, a quick story of me. I went to college, thought I was going to be a nonprofit and save the world and help people, and went into nonprofits. And a year in, turned out I was a budget cut because nonprofits need money and they didn't have any for my position. So then went into corporate and realized, oh, I can still help people and save the world in corporate. I don't have to be in a nonprofit. So rode the train of working in corporate, helped grow a company, won lots of awards, all fun and dandy, 100 employees. And then there was a greedy salesperson and it went downhill quickly. And so I got to learn what bankruptcy looked like and rode the train of that, was able to protect the owner and all of his assets. So he didn't have to file, just the company closed. And at the end of it, I was looking around and he had everything. I kept his home in $1 million worth of assets and I still had a mortgage and now I needed a job. So
all right, hold on, stop right there. Let's not just go over this. So notice, guys, she's already coming to the awareness that, hold it, I'm doing all of this stuff covering somebody else's ass, and yet I'm grinding out a paycheck while your skill set allows you. Does this sound familiar to anybody? Real estate investors out there, small business owners, you're grinding out and other people are winning. That's why many of us turn into entrepreneurs. Please continue.
Exactly. So I was going out and doing interviews and actually got a job offer, and the gentleman, it was a decent offer, showed me his 5-year plan, and it included buying a plane. And at that moment, I declined the job, walked out, and said, I want my own damn plane. For anyone else again. And no, I don't have a plane, nor is a private jet in my near or distant future, but I was done building someone else's legacy. I was done working for someone else, and found out about fractional CFO work. And I said, hey, I've been doing that my whole life. That'd be fantastic because then I can help lots of companies instead of just a couple. So started my company, and 6 months in, made more money than I'd ever made working for someone else. And
isn't that the truth though? I mean, literally. Yeah. When we start working for ourselves, and sometimes put in the same hours while we're working our asses off, but when we're working our asses off for us, all of a sudden there's a whole different game being played, right?
Yes, it was definitely a new ball game. So went out, started my company. It worked, got to help lots of people, and then grew, and then added team members. And now I'm like a real company and have all these things that you're supposed to have when you're a real company. But the benefit is
like a fractional CFO, right?
Of a fractional CFO, yes.
That's one of the things we all deserve is a fractional CFO.
Yes, everyone needs a fractional CFO. Whether you're a startup or a $20 million company, you still need that level of advice, because I think if everyone could raise their hands, we all make decisions off of our gut, right? Like, do I do this? Do I not do this? This one feels good. Let's go that way. But having a fractional CFO adds a layer of, let's talk about the numbers real quick and figure out, okay, road A, road B. Okay, this one's going to make you more money. I suggest go this one. If your gut says that, go. Because you go this way, you're not going to make as much money.
Very good. That's great advice to have.
Most entrepreneurs hate financial reports. They hate numbers. They don't want to look at their P&L. And so having a fractional CFO or a firm that helps you with that means you don't have to, because they are.
Yeah. So I gotta jump in here because this is, I'm going to tell you guys right now, this is what the decision point from you being an entrepreneur to being being an entrepreneur with a legitimate business. There's a threshold we all cross, every single one of us. Some of us, it could be 200,000 a year in sales. Some of us could be 20 million a year in sales. But at some point, every single one of us stop. I'll speak to the real estate investors because they're my pride and joy. The real estate investors, how many of you use real estate investing? You flip once a year, twice a year, 3 times, 5 times a year, but it's not a business. You're just flipping houses. You're buying and holding, but maybe you're not running it like a business. Every single one of us have a threshold that we cross where we now need not just outside counsel. Hello, I'm Mr. Please mentor me myself, but we all need advice about running a business, not fixing and flipping properties. Speak to that, Pam.
Yes. So entrepreneurs start a company because they're good at fixing something, selling something, or servicing something. That doesn't mean they know how to run a company, right? So I deal with a lot of real estate investors, and yeah, you're great. You can go out, you pick a good deal, do what you got to do to make it look shiny and pretty, put good paint colors on the wall, flip it, make some money, and roll on to the next one.
Right.
Well, how many flips until you actually have a business? Until you actually have company money coming into the accounts.
Yeah.
And that's when it's, oh crap, I'm not just playing anymore. You're not just a technician, you're actually running a company and you need to act like it. And so we work with a lot of those companies who are at a point where, okay, we're not playing anymore. Low six
I love how you say that.
Fun. Now high 6 figures is hard. What do we do now?
Yeah. I love how you say that because it is that. I ran into it myself, and I've always said I don't want to be a CEO because I'm a subject matter expert, because I didn't believe I could do both of them until I started surrounding myself with an advisory team who could actually make smarter decisions. I don't have to be a subject matter expert in your field or in Ray Perez's field, right? In branding and marketing and all these other things. I don't have to be the expert. I only have to surround myself with those experts. So Pam, tell me about some of the, let's talk like, it doesn't even have to be in the order of size of the landmine, but what are some of the things that you can guarantee in this transition my people are going to have either done or are likely to do if they don't, unless they listen to this podcast?
Yeah. So there's tons of things that I've seen over and over with entrepreneurs. So in no random order, first huge landmine is not having separation of church and state. Look, your company's your company and your personal's your personal. So often I come into companies like 7-8 figure companies in gross sales, and they're still using personal credit cards for business expenses. Or
are you guys listening to this?
Stop doing that right now, please. Get a company credit card, get a company bank account, because if Uncle Sam comes and knocks on the door and you're treating your personal account like a business account and your business account like a personal account, so will they.
That's a great way to say it.
Own you on all levels. But if you treat your business like a business and you treat your personal like personal, there's not going to be a crossover.
Excellent.
So,
yeah, excellent.
As soon as you start making money, get a business credit card and get a business checking account. So
that's where you guys, that's where the very things that we talk about are fundability, because personal to it, just so you know, Pam, the filters that they're listening to you through is that 80% of a business credit card, business line of credit, business loan decision, 80% of that decision is based on personal profile, not the business. And so what they're hearing you say is, I got to hurry up and do what Merrill's been telling me to do for months or years, because you guys, you cannot mix those funds. Now, they are aware of a couple of things where we have taught them how to lease a business credit card and put it in, make sure that the bylaws or the articles of organization or the operating agreement allow for it, and then make a notation, the equivalent of a journal entry, to saying that they have done so and passed that. But that is way more technical than just getting a card in your in the personal for personal and in the business for business. Continue.
Exactly. Another one is not knowing your numbers. Look, if you don't like accounting, cool, outsource it. Find someone who does. Get someone on your team that does. Like, look, I suck at marketing and boosting posts on Facebook and SEO. So I don't do it. I have other people, either contractors or people on my team, that do it. So look, you're fantastic at flipping houses. No one expects you to understand a P&L and reconcile, but they do expect you to have someone that does it. So very often, I've just recently worked with a flipper down in Florida. She did $1.6 million last year, and she hasn't tracked her numbers in 3 years. And she is in a world of pain right now because she doesn't know where she is with her numbers.
Yeah.
And she's got IRS knocking on her door, and she needs to get some money and some funding. And she has not been through Merrill's course. And she is stranded because she doesn't even know where her numbers are. And she did $1.6 million. Like, this isn't a hobby for her. This is a bona fide company. And she doesn't know where she is.
I in one of the groups that I met through BA, I was introduced to a group called Multiple Club, and and one of the take homes that they have taught, I'm drilled into me, is fall in love with your numbers. I mean, like, court your numbers. Like, oh, how do you make them more beautiful, right? How do you create more so that they are better than they are right now? Like nurturing any relationship. It said, fall in love, build a relationship with your numbers, which, now here's the thing. I've been doing this for so long, but I've been doing it. The reason why I brought Pam on, you guys, was because I found out that I didn't have, we knew how much sales we had in a month. We knew how many clients we had funded and how much, what the fundings were, but past those top notch or those top tier numbers, I couldn't tell you all the click throughs and the passes and the cost per acquisition. I don't know what it costs to make you my client. No clue. No freaking clue. I just said, hey, you want to be a client? Be a client. If you don't, okay, we're cool. Right. But I didn't know any of these numbers. And now that she's involved, I have to come face to face, just like this woman in Florida. I've had to come face to face that, I don't have a relationship with my numbers, much less have a beautiful blossoming love affair with these numbers. And that's what we need to make this work. Pam?
Yeah, perfect. Figure it out, and just, if you can't do it, find someone who can. Another one is to know your passwords. More than once, I have seen people grow companies, and they add people to their team and they lose control of the passwords to bank accounts, to software, to email lists, all those things. And if something happens and a person walks out, so goes your passwords. I had one person that couldn't, he was a manufacturer. He had a bookkeeper for over 10 years, well-established company, and she retired, but not on good terms, and took all of the bank passwords with her. It took him a week and a half to get the bank to redo his usernames. So he had no idea how much money he had because he was too reliant on this one person. So yes, build a team, but use things like LastPass and other software to make sure that, yes, they can get to what they need to, but if they walk, your passwords don't.
Yeah, I can attest to this, guys. I now use LastPass because it was at the point of death. It was foisted upon me by my partner and dear friend and our COO, Jessica. You guys know Jessica Tabora. She said, Merrill, you do this or you die. Because I'm Mr. Use the same password for everything, this, that, and the other. She installed LastPass. So now I don't have to know jack about anything. I just have to know how to, the one password to get into LastPass is the only one I need to know. Everything else. So you guys, are you listening? Are you listening? These are the accounting books, business management landmines, as big of blow-ups as you can have in your funding. These are awesome, Pam. These are awesome. I'm sitting here going, I dodged that one. I'm one for three. I'm one for three.
You're doing great. Don't worry. There's more. Next one is not paying yourself. So often entrepreneurs and business owners are hustling and hustling and hustling, and they forget to take care of themselves and forget to pay themselves. And this is where the intermingling comes in. So with money coming in, you need to pay yourself. Take it out of the company, transfer it to your personal, and live your life. Because there's a mindset for some reason that we should work our ass off and get nothing for it because we're the entrepreneur. Well, and we should work 80 hours a week and not get paid.
Yeah. So that's one of the beefs that I've had because the vast majority of my clients have or will be transitioning from W-2 to entrepreneur, full blown, full time. And that's what I remind them, just like you're saying it. So I'm so glad you're valid. I'm not the only one telling my tribe these key things, but paying yourself, the reason why we left our W-2 jobs, you guys, is because we weren't getting paid for the value we were creating. Just like you, Pam, you said, I want my own plane. I want my own company. I want to work for me. But we're trained, we're programmed. Our programming tells us that it's okay to not pay ourselves because it's my company. That's not the logic. That is not good logic, guys. It's okay to harvest money off of the fruits of your labors first, because that's why you went into business. So do a little deeper dive on that and share your perspective, because I don't want to give away the way that you do that for companies.
Sure. So I have a tool for cash flow management called Profit First, and it's based off of a book by Mike Michalowicz, and it's Profit First, and it's a cash flow methodology. It's a way to handle your money. Typical accounting says sales less expenses equals profit, as in you get the crumbs. Okay, well, you took the risk to start the business, to buy that property, to scrub the floor. And at the end of the day, you're hoping that you'll get something. That's not how I want to live my life. So what we do with our clients is the equation is sales less profit equal expenses. So what that means is you're paying yourself first. For every dollar that comes in, a percentage comes off the top. And we recommend that part of it goes to profit, part of it goes to tax, and part of it goes to owner's pay, which is paying you a salary. Because if you don't pay yourself first, you're just going to get crumbs. And on a good day, there's $5. And on a bad day, there's negative $5. So why not get 1 to 10 to 15% off the top and then run your company on what's left? So we use the Profit First cash flow methodology, and I'm certified in the process, and we walk our clients through this. The way we do it is with multiple bank accounts. So think of it like the envelope system, but with bank accounts. So as money comes in,
that's how I was raised with envelopes, and that's how I started. My kids were with envelopes. That's awesome.
Yes, we do it. And so it's having multiple bank accounts. And as money comes in from doing a deal, you put some into profit, you put some into tax, you put some into owner's pay because you want to get paid. And the rest is how you run your company. And a lot of people are like, oh, but I need all my money. No, you don't. Because if you're forced to have a smaller amount of money, you will figure it out. And we work with our clients to figure it out, because you can easily take 1 to 10% off of your expenses with 2 hours worth of work.
Yeah. Me likey.
And 1 to 10% is worth 2 hours of your time.
All right. So team, I got to tell you that here's my story. You know how transparent I am with you guys. So Jessica, better part of 6 years she's been with me, and she is a profit first maven. She just loves it, runs her entire personal life on profit first. So I'm sitting here just doing my thing, Mr. Subject Matter Expert, not running it like a business, this, that, and the other. And she starts squirreling away savings for me. I mean, literally doesn't tell me a damn thing, just starts squirreling away. And it's like 5 to 10% of the deposits that we do. I mean, literally off the top line, deposit takes 2, 3, 5, 10%, whatever it was for her, and squirrels it away from me. And then it was like 2 years ago, she's like, I have a surprise for you. And she goes, what is it? And then she shows me an account, and I'm like, the hell, what's this? And she goes, yeah, that's your savings. And I'm like, ah. Now, not only do I love her madly, but what a great team player to like onboarding you, Pam. It was like finding the people who have your back, you guys. I mean, who literally have your back. They're watching for your blind spots, know what you don't do well, and then do it on your behalf. So Pam, like any stories or any examples of how this has saved somebody from, just save somebody's ass.
Yes, I have so many stories about how Profit First has saved people's ass. One is for a gentleman. He is a trainer. So if you want to get lean and mean and strong and all that, that's what he does. He's been in business for a number of years and has employees and contractors, and has been in business for 10 years and never paid himself because he was going with what was left. Right? Like he kept the lights on, he paid the rent bill, he paid his team, and he never got anything to take home. So we implemented Profit First, and within a month, he was paying himself and setting money aside. He went home and took his wife his first $3,000 check that was his pay. She fell out. She's like, "You're contributing now? You're helping? Like this isn't just a hobby anymore." And so it was
messed up.
Fantastic. I mean, she was being a smart butt about it for sure, but he was able to finally pay himself and contribute. And his wife wasn't, you don't have the guilt of not contributing to the household.
Right. Especially since there are power dynamics in every relationship. And if somebody's carrying you, at some point, they either get tired of it. People may use it against you. Now, I'm always on the nose about all this stuff. So guys, ladies, investors of mine, please understand that the better you take care of you, the better you can take care of everybody else. A full cup can share. An empty cup can't share jack. Now that's emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and especially financially. If your cup is empty because you're not taking care of you, it might be used against you, and you're gonna feel the regret and shame of not participating in your relationships. But remember how good it feels to put you first. You wanted to do your passion project, real estate investment, whatever it is, buying dry cleaning franchise. I don't care what your jam is. What I care about is that you are the superhero of your own story. You're the hero, not the company isn't the hero. Your services aren't the hero. You are. Exactly.
I've got another story. It's a guy who is in the digital sales space. It was his first year in business, was last year. And he went out on his own, left the family business, and started this up. And we started Profit First his second month in business. So out the gate, we're implementing this process. Now, because of the product he sold and the IP that he held, he did $2 million in his first year. Like all of us wants to be that guy, but most of us don't, right? Right. So we implemented Profit First, and on a quarterly basis, we do profit allocations where whatever in the profit account, part of that goes to your pocket for what you want. Awesome. And there's a whole formula of how it works. But bottom line is whatever's in the profit account, part of that's going into your pocket. And so because it was their first year in business, the young couple just had a baby, lots of, money stress, I asked that she be on that call when we did the allocation. And so I go through the normal humdrum, how's it going, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, okay, well, it's time for our profit allocation. Let's look at what's in the bank account and let's talk about what you can do with it. She was screaming because she had no idea that we'd been setting that money aside. And it was $30,000 that we'd set aside, and she had no idea. And they wanted to move. And with their second allocation, they were able to do their down payment on their house with the profits from the company.
That's awesome.
Like, that's nuts. And then awesome. Other guys who, are smaller and not doing big numbers, but always wanted to take his wife to a nice dinner and stay at the Ritz-Carlton. Like, they're, Hampton Inn kind of people. And we did a profit allocation, and he surprised his wife, and they went, they were down in Miami, and they went to the Ritz-Carlton and stayed for the weekend and had crazy,
that's amazing.
Finally got to go to those places and have the $1,000 dinner and, $1,000 night in a hotel because they'd never been able to before. And for him, that was a huge win because of all the time and effort he'd put into growing his company. And he was able to bless his relationship and his wife with it. And then I've got other people that have paid off hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt because by doing the profit first system, you're paying yourself first and you're putting money aside. And if you have debt, that money goes towards debt. And that's what I did personally is when I started my company, I got scrappy and I used credit cards. And, there's a point when I implemented profit first where I was like, babe, we're paying all this off. And so we paid off all the debt set for the house, cars, all the loans, credit cards, everything. And then we went out to dinner that night and opened a bottle of Blanton's. Congratulations. I'm a bourbon girl. So
nice.
That was the best dinner because it was we don't have debt dinner.
Yeah, no, that is an amazing feeling. And guys, one of the things one of the atomic truth bombs she's just dropping on you is that profit first allows you to coordinate any debt payments, anything else that's happening for you. Remember that if you have 15 to 22% credit card debt, every dime you pay, I've known clients who've literally had like $10,000 in their savings account, and then they have another $5,000 or $6,000 in debt, and the savings account is coming in at 2% back in the day, 2%. Now it's 0.5% or whatever it is, 0%. And they didn't realize, they hadn't connected the dots that when you pay off your debt, you're getting a 22% return on your money. You're getting paid interest because you're shaving all those costs off. So that's another take-home message for what she just told you guys, is because you paying down that revolving debt, and how we're paying revolving debt helps your fundability. We're all about that here. But you can also save a crap load of money on interest. That's the return on investment for any dime used to pay off your interest rate. So those are great. Those are great stories, man. Holy hell. There's so there's a lot to talk about. So any other, another landmine, just an easy one for our people to understand and be able to implement and start at least being conscious of?
Sure. So I'll make this my last one, is know your worth. So as the business owner, as the entrepreneur, know what you're worth per hour, because if you are worth $150 an hour, you don't need to be doing a $20 an hour chore
job. Yeah.
So very often I find business owners who are amazing at business development. They're amazing at building their tribe. They're amazing at closing deals, and they're doing administrative tasks. And I'm like, dude, do you realize what you're worth? Why are you doing these tasks? We can outsource this. We can get a VA. We can hire somebody. We can go overseas. I don't care. But you do not need to be doing $10 and $20 tasks. And I can immediately put more money on the bottom line for them and in their pocket by helping them stop doing those
Cha-ching.
low-level tasks and doing tasks that only they can do as the owner and the founder and the business subject matter expert. I don't know what you know. So I don't you don't need to be doing my job. You need to do what you can do.
Right. Yeah. Surround yourself with people who can help you with your shortcomings, help you with your weaknesses. And you should only be doing, so my take home from this is you should only be doing what you specifically can do for your in the business, the strategist, the visionary, the relationship builder, but all these these other things should be done by somebody else so that you have the time. Why, if I can rephrase, why spend your hour doing a $20 an hour time that doesn't allow you to build relationships that are worth hundreds of dollars per hour if you just spent the same amount of time doing it, right? So
exactly.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Wow. I'm telling you, Pam, thank you so much. I'm excited to be working with you myself, simply because you bring a level of expertise that I don't have. But the last thing I want to kind of address here is just share with us your philosophy of accounting, is because the reason why I'm working with you is because of your ability to navigate the fuzzy logic of the IRS and accounting protocols. So what are those priorities, or how do you, what's important to you to make sure that people are prospering in the system rather than being kind of shit on in the system?
Yeah, definitely. So my perspective is very different than most accountants. Most accountants and tax preparers just tell you what happened. They're looking in the rearview mirror of your company and saying, okay, you missed your exit, 2 miles back. This is what your report says. By the way, go pay Uncle Sam this. Peace. See you next year. Right? They're not telling you helpful information. They're just telling you history. Where what we do with our clients is we take information about where you've been and we tell you where you're going. We look forward out the front window of your car, of your company, to say, okay, Merrill, what are your goals? Okay, you want to do X, Y, Z. Cool. We're going to reverse engineer that to make a plan. We're going to make the roadmap to that exit or whatever you want. And then we're going to help you get there and hold you accountable so we don't chase the shiny squirrels that all of us entrepreneurs come up with all the time. So it's a matter of knowing where you're going and having a plan of how to get there so that you get there. And sometimes that means we need to pay a little bit of tax right now because down the road, we're going to get tenfold for it. Or right now, we're going to play this game over here and not pay any taxes because we have time till we need to do X, Y, Z. So it's a matter of looking where you're going, not where you've been. I care where you've been, but I am more interested about where you want to go.
Brilliant. Yeah, did you guys hear familiar language in there, you guys? The whole point is it isn't just the plan, but it's having somebody there in the navigator seat who can point out can continue to update your skills in the terrain, not because the map is a snapshot in time of your movement towards success, towards fundability, towards creating the life you love living, right? But the terrain, a map doesn't serve the terrain. A map only describes it from a distance, well, usually a very high perspective. The coaching, the support, the ability to create a navigator in the middle of the terrain where the floods are happening, where the snowfalls are killing my entire Texas team, just completely bombarding them. That's why you guys have me as a guide. That's why I have Pam as a guide, because I want to know the fastest and easiest way to get where I want to go. And Pam, you have the unique set of skills that to like you said, take what's behind me and project that out into the future and help me do it the right way, which is everything to me. Any final words for my tribe about what, if they wanted to get a hold of you, if they wanted to know more about you and see you at your finest, how would they get a hold of you?
Yeah, definitely. So my personal website is pamjordan.com and my company is pivotbusinessgroup.com. And what we do is we help you turn to profit and figure out what's really going on with your company and help you create that roadmap to get you where you want to go. So social is Pam Jordan CFO, and website is pamjordan.com and pivotbusinessgroup.com.
Wonderful. Those will be in the show notes, guys, and on the blog once we get that set up. We'll tell you, Pam, when the release is coming out. It's usually a week to 10 days. We'll let you know so that you can do some announcements on your groups. I'd love to have your people be able to see kind of that high res. I know we're going to be publishing it once again on our tribe, even though we have done it live here to our Facebook group. We're going to take the blog version of it and repost it again for all of our people. Guys, build yourself a team, period. Think of it as the pit crew and you're the driver and then pick your race. Some of us are NASCAR. Some of us are Formula Ones. I was going A1. Am I hungry? What? Formula Ones. Some of us are Formula One. You need a pit crew, bottom line. And I've chosen Pam to be part of mine. So you guys, final words. Make sure that you take care of yourself first, because when you take care of you, your cup is full to take care of your loved ones. Those are our first and most important priorities. And make sure you build a team that helps you do that. This is Merrill Chandler, your host of the Get Fundable podcast and your guide through the Get Fundable universe. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Pam. It has been a delight having you here, and we will see you guys on the inside.
Thank you for listening to the Get Fundable podcast. Please leave comments because Merrill would love to read about your aha moments from this episode. And be sure to visit getfundable.com to read our blog, get important links, join our community, and much, much more, like ordering Merrill's tell-all book that is changing the world, The New F Word. And you got to tell your friends about this podcast because we want them to get fundable too.